Occupy Wall Street protesters continue to demonstrate across the country. In New York, protesters are expanding from their Wall Street base to other areas of the Big Apple. And one independent filmmaker has captured the essence of the protest on camera. Let's take a look.
Come here, you want to get arrested or no?
Are pillars of an open and inclusive society. There is a clear responsibility by the Egyptian government to hold accountable those responsible for these attacks.
For months, the Iranian people have sought nothing more than to exercise their universal rights. We call upon the Iranian government to abide by the international obligations that it has to respect the rights of its own people.
Joining us now is the filmmaker who produced that short film, Corey Ogilvie. Thanks for joining us, Corey. What inspired you to make this film?
I would say everybody who filmed it. Earlier you said that one filmmaker captured it, and the truth is I did not shoot a single frame of that entire video. What inspired me is the amount of people that are capturing every moment of this event. That's what inspired me.
Okay, well, so you are responsible. Maybe you didn't take all that video, but you did edit that video, and you juxtaposed some violent images of the protest to some comments from our political leaders. What were you trying to convey or reveal to your audience?
The symmetry of it. If you watch the film, you know, we talk about the symmetry and hypocrisy. And I think our leaders are so quick to speak out for the rights of the Egyptian people and the Libyan people and the Syrian people, and that's great, yet they haven't said a single thing for the rights of the American people. I have measured and gauged this sense of hypocrisy. So many people are saying it. They're like, why aren't they speaking up for us? And that's where the idea came from.
And to what extent would you compare the movement here to the movements that we're seeing in the Middle East, that you're comparing this to?
Yeah, I think it's not a direct comparison in the sense that Egypt, Libya, Syria, Tunisia, Yemen, they have one demand, and it's democracy. It's not the same as the Occupy Wall Street movement at all. And that was the strength of their movement, is their whole demand was one word, democracy. And so I think the difference still remains, obviously, is that the Occupy Wall Street movement does not have that singular demand, nor should they. I initially thought they should have just one set of demands, one leader making them. And after seeing Naomi Klein speak on it, she had a really good point that they should still wait and grow and grow and grow, and then you'll have more leverage. That's a term banks love to use, leverage, right? Well, you can leverage the movement when it's much bigger, and you can make bigger, stronger demands.
Okay, well, you said that, that the movements are different, that in the Middle East they're asking for democracy. Here, they're asking for something else. Then why do you juxtapose the message from our government leaders and compare it to the Middle East? Why do you make that comparison then?
Well, I mean, if you watch the film, you'll see there's some shots where, for example, in Egypt, the horses rode through the protesters and tried to suppress the protest. The exact same thing happened at the G20. Like, shot for shot, it was identical. As well, if you look at the suppression of journalists in Egypt and Syria, shot for shot, it is identical. So this film isn't comparing the demands. What this film is doing is comparing the repression. And, you know, one funny thing that I saw was that the Boston police were, you know, moving people out of the park, and the reason why was that there was $150,000 worth of shrubs installed in the park. And when you think, okay, shrubs or the First Amendment, what's more important? What trumps what? And I think that's the comparison, is these demands are becoming so ludicrous from our government for us not to speak out. Those were the first steps they used in Egypt. That's the first steps these governments use to suppress their people.
Corey, what kind of response are you getting from this film?
It's been, yeah, like pretty amazing. The YouTube, for some reason, age restricted the video, so nobody can watch the video.
That.
Yeah, on Facebook. It's very, strange that the truth should be age restricted.
Why do you think they did put an age restriction on this video?
Well, I think they, by the guidelines, there is a shot. I regret putting the shot in the film now. It's where one of the protesters was shot in the back of the head and he's pretty bloody. It's only like half of a second that you see it, but it is graphic, fair enough. But I think, again, the truth trumps censorship. So in certain cases, you have to just say, okay, that 2-second shot of a bloody head is more important for our youth to see than it is the fact that they might have nightmares that night. I mean, as if they're not seeing stuff like that already on TV, etc.
Right. And Corey, ultimately, what is the message that you want to get out with this film?
I want the leaders to see this film. As much as I love the fact that the people are seeing this film, I can't imagine how any leader, especially Clinton and Obama, could watch this film and not ask themselves a simple question: what about my people? What about not the politicians, not the Congress, but what about my people? And that's what I really hope that they can ask themselves, because if they don't, things could turn into Egypt. Things could turn into Syria, because the people will only take so much. That's the central message, is you can only push them down for so long.
Corey, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. That was film director Corey Ogilvie.